Tony D and Little Joan and the screenwriters ran on One More Shot, a movie about terrorists and a dirty bomb, and Scott Adkins and Michael J. Watt's gonna stop him, and Tom Berenger's in it, and he's the old guy who signs of yeah, this terrorist, he's an ex-terrorist, but is he helping or hurting him? I don't know. Tom Berenger doesn't know. Nobody knows. But they're going to shoot a lot of people. Smash like and subscribe. Thank you for smash liking and subscribing. Check out my books. Links in the description. Comedy Horror in South Jersey, Joan. It's the Pineys, books 1 through 13, available at Amazon.com. Don't forget, Kindle Unlimited is free. Thanks to all who came out to the Hamilton Historical Society at the Canoe Club tonight. It was a good show. What do you got on your face here, Joan? A little something in your hair. There you go. Yeah, I got it out. It was a good night. A lot of people came out, bought books, had a great chat about the Jersey Devil, local history. Learned some stuff myself. Got one of my facts wrong, but other than that, it was a good night. People seem to like the talk. Next event is Valares on Sunday from 11 to 2. This is an outdoor market. There is a chance it's going to rain. I thought it was on Saturday. It's actually on Sunday. But it might stop by Sunday. I'll let you know. Keep watching the skies. Anyhow, this movie is about a terrorist. And he's going to blow up the Capitol unless Scott Adkins and Tom Berenger and Michael J. Watt stop him. And this is more than a terrorist plot. It's more. I don't know what that means. It's called One More Shot. One More Shot. These guys are going to come into the bus and kill everybody. I don't know. It feels kind of empty. Part of the reason these things feel so empty, it's a standard actioner, but it's just moving chess pieces around, it feels like to me, because you don't have a real, back in the day, it would always be the Soviets, or in the case of James Bond, Spectre, which really was the Soviet Union, or an organization backed by the Soviets. It was easy to do this stuff. So you could tie it into real world events that people connected with and said, oh yeah, I read about those guys in the news. Yeah, the Soviet Union, not a bunch of good guys. Yeah, they're always trying to kill us. Now they put something out, and it's always this generic evil organization that no one's ever heard of, that they made up for the movie. And it's like, just pick one. Just pick Al Qaeda or ISIS or whatever. I know, they're paranoid that if they pick, say, ISIS, and then there's an ISIS attack, that they're somehow either urging the attack, and that there'll be some sort of copycat, I guess, or that it would be somehow disrespectful to the victims if there's an attack. That's not real life. Television is not real life. But if it doesn't reflect real life, people tune out. If you don't include some of the real life stuff, like if you don't at least sort of mention Al Qaeda and ISIS and all that kind of stuff, then you can't sell this stuff. You absolutely can't sell it. Like, the most realistic terrorist attack thing now would be if you did an event like this, and the main guys were like Hamas, right? They were Hamas, and they're going to blow up the U.S. Capitol because of what happened in the Israel-Hamas war, or the Iranians, or someone like that. Even in Back to the Future, remember Doc Brown made his money by pretending to work for terrorist organizations, but he really gave them a bunch of pinball parts that instead of giving them a nuclear weapon. I believe he worked for the Libyans. I'm almost sure it was the Libyans. See, that or the Iranians. I'm almost sure in that first movie. Oh, it's the Libyans. They're really mad at me. I gave them a bunch of pinball parts instead of a nuclear bomb. Like in a comedy, I guess, it's more of a comedy. You can get away with it. In a real world thing, why not? Who the hell else is... I mean, look. No offense to anybody in this, that it looks good. It looks well done. Tom Berenger is a good actor. Scott Adkins seems fine. Michael Jai Watt's been in this stuff before. So who cares if you mention a real place and you got to delay this or whatever? I mean, is that going to be a national tragedy if you have to go back and redub it? It doesn't even look that expensive. It looked like the whole thing was shot in an airport and a couple of planes and buses. You know? If you had to change a couple of lines in this, so what? Go back and change them if you have to. I don't think you need to. I don't think ISIS watches TV. They're sitting around lounging in their caves or whatever going, yeah, I don't think I'm going to kill anybody. Hey, let's watch this movie. Oh my God, they mentioned us. Now we have to kill people. Like, that's not the way it works. Right, Joan, you okay? Don't throw up on my desk. Okay? So I don't think it's a real issue, but I think the studios worry that it's kind of a real issue, even though it's not. But it takes away from what could be a movie that would feel more real if you just tied it into one real thing, or just mention a bunch of them, right? If you just mentioned a bunch of bad actors in this, and then made up a new one alongside of it, at least that. Like if you said, who is this guy? Oh, he's from a splinter group. May have splintered off from ISIS or Al Qaeda. We're not really sure. It's called El Kaboom, and whatever. Obviously, Al Kaboom would not be a good name, but you come up with a name, and you make it sound right by mentioning the real life stuff, and then you could sell it. And I mean, sell it in terms of the audience. Otherwise, you're just running around in an airport trying to emote it. That's not enough. That's what I've always missed in as compared to old movies and new movies on this kind of stuff in James Bond. I've missed the details of the real life stuff that used to be in this. Now they're just not there. They just keep it completely out. They keep it like real life free, and it just doesn't feel real. Now, one could argue that people don't follow the news in America closely enough that they would even know the names of some of the people, but I disagree. I think people know Al Qaeda and ISIS well enough. Sorry, that's Joan. She's fine. She just needs a drink, and she's a dog, and isn't smart enough, apparently, to get a drink when she's thirsty. Get a drink, Joan. Anyhow. I don't know if you hear her choking back there. She's not choking. She's trying to clear her throat. Joan, you're ruining the whole take. I sat you on the ground. Anyhow. I know I'm probably over-criticizing this, but it looks fine. It looks like a by-the-numbers thriller, like 24 kind of thriller. There's a dirty bomb, and they got to find it in time, and they find it. Newsflash, they find it. First act, there's a threat. They send in the SEAL Team 6 or whatever. It looked like they got it under control, and then there's a big twist. That leads into the second act. Scott Adkins is on his own. There's probably somebody on the inside. Michael J. White may be a bad guy in this. I'm not sure. Somebody got paid off because that's the only way to sustain this. Because these, again, real life, these terrorists, they can barely afford, one quick shot, let's say. They're not going to be able to afford 40 different henchmen for you to kill them one by one in an airport. So, and then they win at the end. They're going to win. I mean, what do you think happens? Let's see if there's a write-up. No. But it's not a bad group. Scott Adkins, I don't really know, but Tom Berenger I know, and Michael J. White. He used to be Spawn. Yeah, so imagine Spawn fighting the terrorists. Actually, that was his real deal in the comics. He was like a Navy SEAL or something. A mercenary maybe. I forget. But he killed for the U.S. government. So, yeah, he was a soldier. So maybe Michael Jai White is Spawn in this. In his early days before he became a superhero. Anyhow, would I watch it? I don't know. It's on Sky Cinema. It feels like the kind of movie you'd watch on a Sunday, right? You got nothing else to watch. I'm not a sports guy. I don't watch sports, so I decide I'm just gonna lie on the couch and kill 2 hours. I'd watch this movie. That's about the only way I'd say it. Either that, or I'd sit around with my friends and make fun of it. And I don't think it's bad, but it's gonna have a lot of tropey moments, like tell us where the bomb is, Ahmad. Stuff like that. And I'll laugh at him because I've seen him a million times. Somebody who really doesn't watch movies, this might be okay entertainment. Might actually be pretty good. I don't know, but it seems pretty by the numbers to me. Anyhow, I got to get to my dog, who appears to be spitting up on the floor. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks to all who came out to the Hamilton Historical Society at the Canoe Club tonight. Valari's on Sunday, if it happens, 11 to 2. I'm Tony D. Choking Little Joan. We'll see you tomorrow.